it were easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah. Hello, Dre. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Thanks for joining.
It's just us two.
It's just us two.
Just them two.
Who's just us two? Molly,
And Dre.
Dre, and Molly.
So today, we're talking about side hustles.
Yes. It's a great topic for today.
Why'd you pick that?
Why not? I think it's important to have things outside of work that continue to either build profit in a way that you can, either save money, make money, plan trips, that's something outside of your current business. And I think it's important. There was a stat that I saw that I think 40% of people currently right now in America have side hustles. I think it's 44% side hustles. And it can be from anything at all. So whether you want to sell your clothes or rent your room or paint cars, I don't know, like something outside of what your normal job is, it's so easy to make money nowadays.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to.
Yes.
And I thought this was a really cool topic, especially for you and me, Dre, because you started your business, your side hustle business a couple of years ago now. What, like 4 or 5 years ago now?
It's gonna be 4 this July.
Wow. And I feel like you literally built that from the ground up, and it's so inspiring. She messages me yesterday with pattern.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a really cute message basically about how our lives align really well, both powerful and rare and exceptional, and how we both inspire each other. And I really look at you as like a boss babe. You are the boss babiest babe of them all,
Thanks,
and
Molly.
I really do think that. And I always like to support you. And I continue to wear my pink cactus coat for life. Every week, every freaking week, every freaking weekend. I get compliments on them, even though I feel like they're stained and old and faded. Like I need to re-up my game. But I wear them all the time. And people think it's really cute.
Thanks.
I'm a walking billboard for you.
Thanks, guys.
And, you started, from what I know, that your business with your sister, but then there's this whole backstory to it, which I would love to dive deeper into.
Okay. As far as like side hustles go, you mean?
Your mission to it, because I feel like it was very much dedicated to your mom. And so I would like to talk more about that if you don't mind.
Yeah. So one, I think side hustles are a great way to, one, be creative, and maybe sometimes your occupation, your primary source of income, let's say your job, doesn't give you that, I guess, creative outlet. Some people can be bookkeepers or accountants or, something very somewhat, I would say, bland. I don't think that our business specifically is bland at all. It's very creative in every way you could think of. But I just think that for others, for the majority, I think out there, side hustles are a great way to be creative and to make some money. Don't look at it as a way to make money. More times than not, people start side hustles out of passion. And sometimes it can get a little sticky if you look at it from passion and then you're starting to make money and then you start to hate it. Kind of like that analogy that Sabs has given about that surf teacher. Remember that he starts to lose passion? Whatever. Sidetrack. But anyway, so I started my side hustle with my sister so it was apparel. And we started with a Cricut, which some people don't know what that is. It's like a... What would you call it? It's like a printer for vinyl. Yeah. And so then I would press the shirts, whatever. Started creating our own designs. And it started to really ramp up because I think we were very niched down with our audience. So I think that that's important. If you really want to get your side hustle off the ground, really trying to find the people that would be interested in it. Don't try to sell books to people that hate books, really think about the people. Social media is an amazing tool. Definitely utilize it. Don't feel stupid over post, because the more you post, the more probability there is that people that like your stuff will see it. So we started it a little over 3 years ago, going to be 4 years. And we started it in the summer before COVID hit. We decided that with an audience, when you start to build an audience, the best thing you can do is help others. And so we decided that our charity that we would be helping on a yearly basis was going to be the Breast Cancer Foundation, because our mother had been a survivor. She is a survivor. So we do that on a yearly basis. We donate throughout the year from all of the products that we do make that are breast cancer specific. So we created that kind of just out of something fun, and I thought it was fun, and we were doing it and whatever, and then it just started to get really crazy with how many people around the places that we go to, you know, Glamis or Lake Havasu, or even just down to the beach, you see people wearing our shirts, and I'm like, heck, that's so crazy.
That's so cool.
So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Still super passionate about it. It took a couple years before we decided to pay ourselves and W-2 ourselves to our business. So it's not like I intended on this making me money. But when it was able, you know, once our bookkeeper was like, no, now you can pay yourself. It's like, oh yeah, cool. Now I can, you know, reap the benefits of what I've been doing for the last 2-3 years. So I think if you come into it thinking about money, you probably won't make that money because you're going to be so greedy about it.
Yeah.
So I think it's really a matter of like finding that passion first.
I love that. I love that you went through or like went into the apparel and like retail kind of game, because you've had that background in a way where like you were an assistant manager for what was it called? Active. And at least you had the knowledge of how to either have orders or stock or inventory. But you've learned so much in regards to the manufacturing now and then the design.
But also something to like point out that, so before I came to Fenix, I worked at Active, which is a retail location. Usually, the only places I've seen it is Southern California. So if you're listening from out of Southern California, you probably don't know what it is. But it's very much like a Tilly's, PacSun. Has very
skater vibes.
Yeah. And so I kept really good relationships, which then helped me in the long term with Pink Cactus, because we were able to get one of our shirts into Active through a contact I had through Active. So we were able to get our shirts in there, and it's really about who you know. You know, it's really about the relationships you keep with people. And it might sound annoying, but like your friends and family are your audience for a good chunk of time. So make sure that you keep those good relationships when you're starting out a small business. If they love you, they're going to support you. So don't try to be bigger than you are. Don't try to be someone you're not. So I really think that keeping those relationships, because it's all about who you know.
Oh, I absolutely believe that. And especially when you have honestly, it's not annoying, but you have your tribe, right? You have the people that will continue to support you.
Girl gang.
Yeah, your girl gang. Freaking, I love it. I love that you have created such an awesome, what I feel like a legacy for yourself and your your future family.
So. I mean, I feel like we haven't even really scratched the surface. And we're really trying to buckle down on marketing this year. Because we've only kept it to Instagram, you know, just post on there. Don't spend any money on, because I mean, me and you know, we've tried out Facebook ads. It could get super pricey, or, you know, you could put out an ad and it doesn't work.
Do well at all.
You spent so much money and you're like, WTF. So it's really a matter of just like taking that leap. Once you get to that point, don't jump into Facebook ads immediately. Don't do it unless you know.
I mean, we learned a lot. I could say that. We tried. We tried. And I feel like we got a lot of learning lessons from it.
100%.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, as long as you're learning what you're doing, or even trying to learn new things, new skills, because before this, I had no idea how to run a business. I mean, we see Sebastian, but we only see the things that we can see, right? There's so many things behind the scenes that you don't know that there is. And Oh gosh, like thank God I have my sister because she does all the crap I hate. Like talking to the bookkeeper, setting up the accountant for the year, paying our fees for our
Your
corporation,
license,
like all that stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea all of this goes into that. It's been fun. But as long as you have that student mentality to learn those tasks in a business, the ins and outs before you pay someone else to do it, it's really you're going to see that value in return.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that for you. I always think it's so cute whenever I see your nieces in your clothing. They're just so adorable.
Yeah.
And you branch out not only to women, but for men.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole family affair, honestly.
Yeah. I think the easiest way to run a business is to make sure that you involve the people around you. Sometimes people don't have their family, so it's their friends and family or their kids. So that's how we had the kids collection, is because my sister got pregnant and now she has two little ones that we had to have little apparel for them.
Yeah.
So which has only caused our audience to grow even more. So
which is cute because your audience, I mean, a big chunk of them are women, and
and so many women I know are having little girls, so it was like perfect timing.
Perfectly timed. I feel like it was set perfectly for you right now.
Yeah. So, but besides me, you also have a hand in side hustles.
Yeah. I mean, my first one, I feel like outside.
It's not apparel.
It's not apparel. It's a lot of it's services. So throughout the last, I want to say since 2015 is when I dove into getting my certification for yoga. And that has been going really well. I ran with it. Like I absolutely loved it. I've been practicing yoga for over 12 years now. And it was one of those things that by the time 2015 hit, I was like, I need to start teaching this. Like I see the massive benefits that it's brought me. Why not teach people? And it was funny, we were getting that that memory on Facebook where this was what, 5, 8?
I think it was 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
6 years.
Yeah, it was 6 years ago where Andrea, Sandra, they were my first students for yoga. We took them out, or I took them out to the beach out in Huntington Beach. And it was morning and the birds came and flew over us and shat all over our yoga mats. And it was a great time. It supported me right from the beginning, which was really awesome. And from there, I even remembered taking my class public, right? Like my first public class, I thought I marketed it really well. I only had one student that came through all of my network,
right?
Quote unquote network. And I was just I remember being very nervous, like so nervous that I was like, my heart was pounding out of my chest.
Before you were going to teach?
Before I was going to teach, I was like, it turned out to be like 6 o'clock or whatever that time was, and no one showed up. And then 5 minutes later, one of my students came, at the time, she and I had become a little bit closer friends through climbing. She knew I was starting to teach yoga. She came to class and she was running late because it was like in a community center. And it was hard to navigate through the center if you don't know. I remember that,
yeah.
And I was like, wow, now I feel at ease that at least one person showed up. Like those were the beginning stages. Right. And throughout time, I feel like I've gotten way more comfortable with like teaching, being able to give hands-on adjustments, which is a very important thing, especially with yoga, because we want to make sure our students are very comfortable and either can get alignment stretches and go further in them. So I think that with yoga specifically, it was a really great addition to my job itself. And again, like you were saying, it's definitely out of a creative aspect of it. Although I think currently right now my job has a lot to do with creativity. It's really good to just outside of it continue that portion,
but
like
yours
that piece
is a
of it.
Physical creativity.
Yes.
So you have the like visual creativity at work, and now you have the physical,
which I think is important. And then with yoga, throughout the couple of years, I was talking to my best friend about this, where I started doing Reiki, right? So I started doing Reiki. I got certified in it. I became a practitioner 2020, right? And so he my best friend Lon, he is finishing up med school. And then he was saying that like out in Oregon, they actually have Reiki masters that come through their hospital rooms. And
interesting.
and literally they do Reiki for their patients. And he said that that hospital has already seen so much benefit from it. And in my head, I didn't think of it like that because I got into Reiki almost, a couple of years after I started practicing yoga. I knew about it since yoga, and I actually wasn't called to it until like 2019 when I got my first cert, and then 2020 when I got my second. And I remember even Kat got her Reiki certification. And when she had asked me during that time, I was like not interested. I didn't really know anything about it. And then the more I understood the healing aspects of it, I was very much called to it because we try our best to be as holistic as possible, especially when it comes down to medicine. And the best thing I can do again for myself is make sure that my energy is all aligned. And in order to make sure I can help others, I have to make sure I'm good first. So the teaching of Reiki 1 is all about self-healing. Reiki 2 is the ability to help be the conduit of healing others. So these two pieces, again, yoga, Reiki, they all happen within, I want to say 4 years. And I think it came out of not necessarily, I don't want to call it boredom, right? I just want to make sure that I'm of service to others. And again, a couple of years
adding values.
Absolutely. And because sometimes I think about the times where even in like when I was little in school, I always had extracurricular activities, right? So it wasn't like I ever had a lot of downtime doing nothing, And I think that really trickled into my adult life. Like I want to continue to do things. That's why we have side hustles. And even within the pandemic, not only was I having yoga clients, I had Reiki clients. Because I started doing pole, I started doing pole fitness during that time, the studio owner even approached me. They sponsored me to start teaching. So that wasn't anything out of my pocket to start teaching. It was literally out of their need during that time. They sponsored me to teach. And then I started teaching right after like 6 months, I started practicing pole. So it all very much aligned really, really well. And even before this discussion, I wasn't doing it for the extra money.
Right.
Literally. I wasn't doing it for like, hey, I'm just going to like make extra for this and this and this. Like it kind of just was fun. Like it was all fun. I was very passionate about it. One of my missions really is to inspire those, especially with loving ourselves, like our body, like we've all, or me, I have gone through so many different waves of self-destruction in which like I hated myself. I hated my body. I hated what I looked like. I would look in the mirror and be like, why do I even think this way? But even with yoga and then pole, like I've learned so much, maybe because I'm 30 plus, but I've learned so much about self-love, right? Like who the hell cares, honestly? So these practices for me, I feel like have helped tremendously with my health, right? Like
as well as give you a paycheck.
Yeah, I made like $10,000 extra this year based off of what I got for my W-2s, and I was like, I didn't even think about that. I was just teaching classes on the side, outside of my daily work, and it was really cool because I sent all of my stuff to my accountant, aka my mom, and it was a really awesome and what felt like eye-opening thing for me because, again, I wasn't doing it for the money. It was just extra. And thankfully, I just was able to save.
So we actually have Sandra and Kat as well that also have done side hustles. Yeah. And I don't know if that's maybe like
it's definitely our circle.
Our mindsets, you know, of like there's nothing too low that we wouldn't do to, make some extra cash. So Sandra, she goes to thrift stores, finds really cool stuff. She knows how much it's worth, whatever, resells it.
On Poshmark.
And then Kat was doing candles.
Yes.
And on top of that, she was Turoing her car, her Jeep, which I was like, oh my God, that is genius.
So genius.
Because we don't work like full time in the office. We're remote. So it was like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
So I just think that it's really interesting how all of us have had our hand in some kind of side hustle or still in side hustles. So I thought it was.
I wish they were here to talk about it because I feel like Sandra was such a, that's her niche for sure. Because she, like ever since I met her, she loves thrifting. Loves it. Like I love thrifting, but I don't like selling clothes online. Like I just don't.
Right. I've had a box in my room that I'm like, I'm going to put it on Poshmark.
Yeah.
And it's been sitting there for so long. And then I even re-downloaded the Poshmark app and I was about to do it. And I was like, no, that's like way too much time. I'm going to give this away.
Yeah.
Someone else going to have it. It's just for me, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like I already have a bajillion things to do. I'm not about to spend it doing that.
I get it. I totally get it. And then, I mean, if I had a Jeep, I would totally Turo my car. That's awesome. Like, if you don't know what Turo is, it's almost like an Airbnb for cars.
For cars, except you don't live in it.
You drive in it. Yeah. And when she was telling us about it, she was like, yeah, you just make a couple of extra, like, $100 on it. Right. And it's a win where you don't even necessarily have to think about it for them.
I mean, you kind of do. So I actually was having a conversation with a couple of our friends. And the guy, it's very much like me. Like, think of ways he already has. I think he's built 2 businesses on top of being a full-time lineman. And so we were talking about, he was like, Dre, what do you think? Because they have a 5th wheel trailer. Said, what do you think if I rent out my trailer for Stagecoach for people? And I said, that's genius. You're not going.
Yeah.
Rent it out. I bet you it's going to be about $1,000 that you're going to make. And he goes, see? And the wife was not happy about it because then you think about, like, it's our trailer. Someone might demolish it.
Yeah.
What about the insurance? Blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, I'm pretty sure the app has thought about that, So it's kind of like you have to see that side of things too, that some people just won't do it because it's like, no, that's mine. I don't want someone else to crash the car.
Yeah, for sure. That is fear, though. That is your fear talking.
Right.
If you can absolutely just get out of your own way of that, you can totally do
business is a risk. So if you're if you want to make money, you might need to take a couple risks.
Yeah.
So
it depends on your risk to reward. It depends on that is.
So what are some other side hustles that maybe people can do if they're listening? Like, and I was actually just listening to a podcast about like different things that people were doing in an office for side hustles.
Like what?
One was polishing jewelry.
Okay.
So she was charging them like $15 or something to polish people's jewelry during the office hours. Another one was, this chick was charging $25 for like pumpkin rolls for during the holidays.
Oh, love.
And she made over $1,000.
Nice.
Another one was cleaning headlights.
Like
so
your
like
car?
Go during your lunch, go to the parking structure
and then clean your headlights.
Who wants their headlights
Whoa.
cleaned? And I'm like,
you could do anything.
Gosh, you really could.
I would charge for massages.
There you go.
Like if someone honestly came in and like did office massages, totally pay for that shit.
Yeah, if you really want to, you'll figure something out. And you can't be embarrassed. You can't be shameful. Who cares?
No one cares.
No one cares.
No one cares.
If it was easy, everyone would do it. So I just think that there's a handful of things, hundreds and thousands of side hustles that you probably haven't even thought about.
And even things like, I think the service-based ones are a little bit easier versus having inventory of anything that you're selling, right? That's like that's what you're going through, right? It's much harder in that aspect. So I'm thinking about other services. Like if someone came in and did my nails, I would totally take that too. Like, please just come over and do my nails because I know, God knows I need it.
Right. I mean, there's also that like buying off of Alibaba or AliExpress, selling on Amazon.
Oh, yeah. E-commerce.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
Anything at all.
Yeah. So what are some maybe things that people should think about before starting a side hustle?
if they're passionate about something, like what are you passionate about outside of your job, right? Like what keeps you, like you started based off of trying to get creative. Like you wanted to make sure that spark is still there. So anything honestly that keeps you creative or keeps you moving or keeps you active are all really great places to start. I even think that like whenever people are doing personal trainings and
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
That's a good little side hustle or it could be a real hustle. That's perfectly fine. Meal prep. Yeah, people do that. That's a good one. Some people don't like
because you think about
cooking their food.
If you asked me, okay, think about something that you're passionate about. It's like, I'm not passionate about playing the guitar. I'm not passionate about doing an apparel business or yoga.
Yeah.
All I like to do is I go to work, I go home,
go to the gym,
I eat, I go to the gym, I go to sleep. What kind of side hustle could I create from that?
That's a great question. A meal prepping one.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, to each their own. You might like knitting. I'm just thinking about all of the random ones.
Workout clothes. You could do workout videos. YouTube apparently you can make a ton of money on YouTube videos.
Yeah. And then you think, okay, what do I have to do? You have to set some time. You might either need to wake up earlier or sleep later. Really depends on you. If you're a night owl or an early bird. Let's see. If you are starting a YouTube channel, what do you need? Your phone or a camera. It doesn't even have to be anything expensive as long as you maybe know how to edit something small.
Right.
Again, these are what would feel like investments.
Yeah.
You have to think of it as an investment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you want to make money out of it, you want to be passionate about it, you have to put in your time, your money, your efforts at the beginning. Don't expect someone to come in, roll in and say, hey, I'll pay you X amount of money the first time you put out a video. Yeah, good luck if you even get one view.
I know.
You know, even if like Instagram, good luck if you get anybody besides your family and your friends following you.
I know. Seriously.
It's like it doesn't happen overnight. And I think that people miss that. They think because they see all these Instagram reels of just things happen. Like, I mean, granted, I put out a lot of reels that people were like, oh, wow, you're so lucky. Like, wow, you guys got so big. And it's like, yeah, but how long have I been going at this?
Hell yeah.
You know? How many nights did I have to stay up super late because we hadn't outsourced our screen printing yet. So I was the one doing it and putting together the orders. Yeah. Like people don't see that. And I wish I had videos of that so that people would understand that it's just not, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a week. It doesn't happen in a month. If it does, like good luck. Like great. You're the lucky one.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works. So it doesn't matter what kind of side hustle, you'd need to put in a lot of time for you to reap any kind of benefits from it.
I love that. I love that so much. I think that I wish sometimes I saw those videos of you working your butt off with that.
No one does, right?
I know. Hours spent to post a 30-second reel, the hours spent outside of it to post a minute of content. And I think one thing that comes to mind was when you were creating your tie-dye, your limited edition tie-dye suits. Sweatset, yeah. And I wish it wasn't pink because I'm not a pink gal.
Right.
I wish it was blue. I don't know. That's just me. I would totally get it. But anyways, I just remembered you talking about like that took hours.
It took weeks. Yeah. It was a gruesome task.
A passion, blood, sweat, tears project.
Well, it's because you sit there and you go, I've done a couple already. I'm not going to stop here. You know, that's, I think, how you should see your side hustle. It's like, I've done it a couple times. Maybe it came out perfect. Maybe it didn't. But you got to keep going for it to do anything.
Yeah.
I can't hammer more on that concept.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just think one step at a time.
Mm.
As long as you stay present in your literal aspect or action, you're going to get the job done.
Don't compare yourself to where another person is. Obviously, I highly recommend people follow people that are doing what you're doing so that you can kind of get ideas. But don't compare yourself to them.
Yeah.
I would use it as more motivation.
Yeah. Inspiration.
Instead of comparison. Because once you start to compare yourself, which, everybody does, I did. I was like, how did they get this many followers? How do they get so many people to buy from them? How are they doing this by themselves? And we're two people. But as long as you're using it as inspiration and motivation of like one day, because I did that with a company, and I said, one day I'm going to beat you in what you're doing. And I'm going to have more followers, more customers, more orders than you. And I did. And I was like, hell yeah. So now it's like, all right, check mark, next. Who's next? Because then I want to be the motivation for them as well. Or even a collab,
Hell yeah.
That's always helpful.
Yeah. Who would your next collab be? Who would you think?
Next collab. I don't know. Sometimes they come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like we
but
did
your
Wilson Creek Winery. And I was like.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was super cool.
Yeah.
But like your dream collab, is there a brand or company that you're like super inspired by that you would love to partner with?
Yes and no, but I don't want to disclose.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll keep it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Listeners, sorry. I compare it to even spending hours and hours of practicing. Because I think that I get a lot of, especially in the pole industry or like the pole fitness world, like I got lucky doing what I'm doing, or like people will be like, you're a unicorn. And I'm like, girl, even though I've been practicing less years than you, how many more hours am I practicing more than you? And I still think about that because I feel like I got really, really good quick.
Well, and there was a reason why the owner or instructor at that pole fitness location had asked you to teach. It wasn't because you were the only one in there. It was because she saw that you were putting in the hours, the time. You were doing a lot better than others. Yeah. And it's not because of just pure luck.
Like I put myself out there and it is hard. It is hard. And it is really physically hard on like your body. Like there are moments like if you ever practice pole, you are going to get bruises on your feet, on your ankles, on your thighs, on your arms, on your armpits, like everything. It's not a pretty sport until you make it look effortless. It's like a really hard thing to do. But I feel like even with that community itself, like I love talking about them because they are like one of the reasons why I continue doing what I do is because I'll get people messaging me about how I inspire them for this, and this, like watching my progress because they don't know. Like sometimes I like post an old ass video of myself like, oh yeah, you started from where I started. Like, hell yeah. Like please continue to do that. And I can speak about it so highly because I'm in it.
Right.
And I continue to do the work. I still practice even though I'm not posting as much because I think that I'm focused on a lot of other things with work itself. But I am not only with pole, but with yoga. Like I'm taking classes on a weekly basis. Like I need to make sure that I am upping my game in any which way. Like I'm not staying stagnant as a student. And I'm even considering doing another program, like another certification for it because I want to get better at my education or at my skill. I know that one of my girlfriends, she finished another, it's called Ashtanga yoga, which is like a really, really very intricate yoga style. I don't want to do that yet, but it just
difficult.
Oh yeah. Yes, I would say so. Okay. Absolutely. But it is encouraging me to go from like my 200 hour to my 500 hours. So that's 300 hours more in yoga certification that I want to, just so that potentially I can actually teach an actual education class. And you have to at least be 500 hours certified.
Okay.
I did and was part of a 200-hour training. Knowing that, I'm like, I could help with an actual course. Like I would love to teach an actual course with yoga. So there's so many different, again, avenues in which you want to make money as long as you're passionate about it. I will be spending money and making sure I invest in myself. And it's like going to school. It's like, I feel like I'm going to school just to get better at freaking life. That's it.
Yeah. And I think that with every side hustle, new avenues do open up from that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like if you think about it, like for us, it was, okay, women's apparel. Then it went into kids apparel, men's apparel. And then we started doing accessories, you know, different avenues. For you, it was yoga, then Reiki. And then now you're wanting to up your game with a different style of yoga. Let's say someone that details cars. Okay. What else can he do? What kind of waxing and this and that and whatever you can do to cars. I just think that it opens it up if you're willing to look at those opportunities.
Yep, yeah. Absolutely. It gives you even more stamina to do it, right? Like you're a well-oiled machine, and you need to make sure that you are trying your best to keep up. And once you have one, you can continue and branch out even more. It's like it's an endurance game. Like it really is. Like do you have the energy to do it? You have to check yourself. If you don't, figure it out. Like find a way to make sure that you do. Like right. I said, like you either have to wake up earlier or stay up later. What is your decision? You know, it's your life. How are you going to live it? Are you going to just stay? I mean, granted, I love being a couch potato sometimes, but are you just going to be a potato eating potatoes? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows?
And that's okay. If that's what you want to do and have no urge to do a side hustle,
it's okay.
That is okay.
That is okay.
No one is forcing you to do anything. I know that there's this huge like influx of people owning their own businesses or, you know, saying that they're an entrepreneur, but you don't have to do that. You know, just because other people are doesn't mean you are.
But if you're called to,
yes,
hell yes,
fucking leap.
Do it. Yeah. jump down.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
So, how do you think that someone that, let's say, wants to start a side hustle, but is already working full time, already probably has to get home, feed the kids, feed the husband, feed the boyfriend, whatever it is, feed the girlfriend. How do you balance that in your schedule to say, like, I'm starting a side hustle? They're telling me I need to wake up earlier, gotta go stay up late. How do I balance that schedule?
It is really going to take intentional planning on your part. So again, Beyonce has 24 hours in her day. We have 24 hours in our day. Beyonce is being Beyonce. So even if you need to take your 15-minute break to walk around, right? Do research in those 15 minutes. Be very intentional with those 15 minutes. Yep. As you walk, you're looking up how to, whatever your side hustle is, how to start that side hustle. What do I need to do? What do I need to look up? 15 minutes. 15 minutes, great. Take your time. Watch your kids, feed your husband, feed your boyfriend, whatever that might be. Those are other hours on the day that you can do that. You can take 15 minutes to do your research. And then when you are done with those pieces, when you're, yes. And then take 30 minutes, right? It's going to be incremental steps, right? Your energy is going to expand the more that you work at, like building your muscles. So it's, again, intentional planning. We all have 24 hours a day. You are Beyonce. We are Beyonces. Yes. That's how I think.
Okay.
It's going to start with even a small push. I remember it was almost out of it's almost as if I started doing everything on the side because I heard my dad saying, like, you're not going to do this. And it hurt me to hear him say that because I was like, hell yeah, I can.
Yeah.
The next day I went to the studio and just purchased a $2,000 freaking class to make sure I got yoga certified.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, Dad, I'm here. I'm doing it. So like whatever it takes, like if it's to show someone up purely out of love because I love my dad, do it. Take time to do it. It's real. You have to invest in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I
what
definitely
do you
think that to balance, I don't think that there's ever going to be a balance. Yeah. Like there's never a balance.
Yeah. It's like
your family and friends and then your business. I definitely think in the beginning, it's going to take way more of you focusing on your business than your family and friends, unfortunately. But if you're intentional and you tell them, hey, you know, right now, this is my focus. Yes, I'm going to give you all the love and support and everything that you need. But right now, like, I really want to see this flourish and I need to focus on this.
So having a discussion.
100%.
Yeah.
150%. Because if you don't, that will cause arguments, that will cause feelings being hurt, that will cause assumptions being made. So have that clear conversation first. If you're really wanting to put in the time, if it's something though that you're like, oh, it's a side hustle, but it really only takes, like, let's say I want to Uber Eats, you know?
Oh yeah.
I can do that for an hour after work and then I'm home. Okay, great. Still have that conversation. But if it's something that you really want to put in the time, effort, and create the wheel, essentially, that's going to take a lot of time. So have the conversation. But also, like, write it down. Because where I'm at now, obviously, we've created the wheel. We've obviously been in business for a couple of years. I write it down in my planner. As soon as I'm done with my work stuff here at Fenix, I then go on to what do I need to get done over here. I even sometimes go as far as, like, literally changing my outfit so that I'm now a different person. I'm in a different mode to then go and do what I need to do. Because without that checklist, people have a checklist. Because you really are able to scratch off everything that you're done. Because if you don't, then you're sitting there going, okay, I've done the orders now. I guess I need to post on Instagram, and that's it. But really, you had to follow up with the bikini manufacturer. Really, you had to return this stuff to Amazon. Really, you had to order more bags to mail. Like, there's all these different things that if you don't write it down or you're not intentional with maybe Asana or some sort of project tracking thing, you're going to be kind of like 2 steps behind, you know? So I don't think that there's a balance. Eventually there will be the opposite where you're able to spend more time with your friends and family, or even after you're done with a launch or something and you're like, whew, I'm done for a little bit. Maybe it give me the week, or I'm going up to Mammoth for a couple days and I'm not thinking about anything besides just maybe posting on Instagram. Then that's where the balance kind of goes back, teeters back and forth.
So I love that.
That's how I see it.
Not really a balance.
No.
It's a shift.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a shift from back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean I don't love you any less.
Good. This whole time I thought you loved me less.
You know, but I think that people really, if you don't have someone that can't support you through that, whether it's your parents or your siblings or your significant other, that really sucks.
Yeah.
Because then you start to like, okay, if you can't support me through this, that it really means something to me, is it really going to work out with something else? So make sure you have that conversation.
I love that. I love that. That was such a great question.
Yeah, it was a great question. Good job, Dre.
That was so good. Great question, Dre. So, Dre, what qualities or skills do you think that someone needs to make sure that their side hustle is a success?
I think we've gone over a few. Definitely have to have a student mentality. They definitely need to be willing to learn new things. Really understand the things that they don't know and be okay with that, because then you have to learn, okay, like I really suck at sending emails, or I really suck at talking to people. I really need to get better at that. I definitely think, let's see, characteristics or skills.
I have one.
Yeah, what is
that
it?
I can think about right now.
We'll go back and forth.
Know your worth.
Okay.
Right? So know your worth in any part of the game.
Yeah.
So when you're first starting, know your worth in a way where it's like, okay, you know that you're learning.
Yeah, you're entry level.
You're entry level.
Don't expect a lot.
You get a little bit of experience. So up your game, like up your confidence, up your worth. Because there are going to be these, like I am going through right now, like what I feel like the big change. And like, I need to know my worth. I have spent years doing and spent on my crafts,
right?
Where I have the ability to be like, an hour of my time is $100. Hell yeah. Like for a service that I'm providing, hell yeah. So it didn't take me, it took me years to get there, but just really understand your worth, your time. It is your freaking time in putting out merchandise. You're creating it, right? Know that it is like a $26 t-shirt, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a $26 t-shirt because it's made out of love. Like I think about that. I'm like, okay, let's go hard. Just know your worth.
Yeah.
Especially with in any which way to succeed. That's one thing that popped up.
Yeah. I definitely think not giving up when things get rough.
Keep going.
When someone doesn't buy your shirt, someone doesn't come to your yoga class, don't give up. Don't expect things to just come up.
It's not personal.
It's not personal.
They don't hate us.
It's that your business is just people have not seen it.
Yeah. And other skills.
Being willing.
Time management.
Oh yeah. No, go ahead.
Duh. But it goes along with what you said. Like you, in order for you to go into your side hustle mode, you literally shed your skin, right? Like you shed your skin, you put a new layer of clothes on. And I think that's so important, right? Like you are managing your time well first on a physical level. And then on a mental level, you're literally taking all of your notes down. You're taking your tasks down. And then not only that, I think that even when you create your to-do lists, one thing that I'm like, it's right in my heart is to have your to-be list, right? So being kind, being brave, being confident that you are going to step into your role right now, because I think that in order to even do any of these menial tasks, you have to put yourself forward in how you want to show up. So that's going to also be another little skill or mindset to have.
And I think the last one needs to be discipline.
Yes.
That's it.
Because it's always going to supersede motivation.
And they always say, you can stay motivated because it's just something new and, I'm going to be making money and, I got a new follower and maybe I got an order. But then what happens when you don't get that? When you actually lose followers, when no one's liking your stuff, when no one shows up to your class? What has to step in? Discipline has to step in.
Absolutely.
When you're not motivated. Because then it's like, I'm still here. I'm still going to teach. Whether it's this one person that's standing right in front of me, I need to teach them so that I can get better. Maybe I'm going to try something out new. Maybe a launch didn't go well. Okay, why didn't it go well? Let me figure that out and stay disciplined to like, okay, what's the course? What's next? What do I need to do? Because if you just give up, it's like you're gonna be another statistic of how many businesses just don't work out. And don't be that statistic. Be the anomaly for those statistics. That's the one thing I do tell people when like they reach out for like, can I have some advice for like what should I do with Instagram, or what should I do with what website should I use, whatever. And I say, all I want you to do is just get through the first 3 months. Because more times than not, when I talk to people after the first month and it doesn't, get any traction, they now you see that they haven't posted in 3 weeks. And it's like, well, no shit. This is why you gave up. This is why if you would have just kept going after those 3 months, you would have seen traction.
Absolutely.
So frustrating for me to see, but I mean, it happens.
It happens. You are the anomaly.
If it were easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah.